All right, we are live.
Yeah,
Hello and welcome everybody. We have Samir with us. Samir is an immigration lawyer. We do this every single Wednesday, 1 p.m. California time, 4 p.m. New York time. Samir, before we get started, do you want to do a quick intro for people who may not know you?
sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Samir. I'm an immigration lawyer based out of Silicon Valley, though I did just spend the last almost 2 weeks in upstate New York, and I got a lot of sun, as you can tell. So it's crazy hot up there. Just like coming from California, we're more used to temperate weather. Upstate New York, it was hot, and then it rained, and then it got cold, and suddenly we were having highs of 80s, lows of 49s, and it was just really erratic and different for me. So my poor California genes weren't able to handle it.
I know. We are
Mhm.
like I'm in California
Yeah,
as well. We are so
yeah,
spoiled by the
yeah.
weather over here. So when I complain, some days when I complain, they're like, "You are like 90% of your weather is like really good."
Yeah.
So yeah,
You
that's
can't
true.
you can't talk. We cannot talk. Although it was quite a beautiful area, just very just not crowded, just very kind of remote almost. And what I realized it was close to the location where that show Severance was filmed, which is
Mm,
really cool. I don't know if you've seen Severance, but it was
yeah,
a cool, interesting area.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, all right. Back to reality. Immigration. What's happening? Anything new happening? Any latest updates on NTAs?
Yeah. Well, I posted about this on LinkedIn. I have a happy update. I got another case terminated last Friday. That was amazing. In this case, this person had filed for an H4 change of status, and
Mhm.
that was pending.
Mm,
And because the H4 change of status was filed, the judge decided that they were in status and dismissed the case. Now, the interesting thing about this case, which is that's a happy update, right? But the slightly worrisome aspect about it was what the judge focused on. She
mm,
seemed to care less that the H4 change of status was filed within the grace period. What she noticed was, luckily, that this person's H4 change of status was filed before the H1B was withdrawn. In
interesting.
this case, the employer waited until the end of the grace period out of the goodness of the heart to do so. Okay.
Mm,
But what if an employer revokes an H1B day one after termination, right?
and you don't have
This
time to like file
you
a
don't
change of
call
status.
for a change of status, right? This judge seemed to think that the change of status needed to have been filed before the revocation was filed,
Mm,
rather than the grace period. So what we're starting to see, this is one case, one judge. But the immigration judges don't do a lot of H1Bs. They don't see a lot of these cases. They're just kind of going off of, all this information, what they see right now, and they seem to hold that date, the withdrawal date, as a more important date than the last day of the grace period. Why? Because the grace period is what? Discretionary, right?
mm,
So
mm.
it seems like the judges may be looking at the NTAs, the revocations and the NTAs, as the government exercising their discretion to cut off the grace period.
Interesting. Wow. So, any based on that, any action steps for people who are going through this?
Well, it's a little unrealistic for those that are about to get laid off and don't have a lot of time to work with,
Yeah.
right? The best practice is to have something filed before your H1B is withdrawn
Mm.
or to leave the US. Those are two extreme options, but these are extreme times, right?
So, for example, let's say if my company was kind enough to let us know that, hey, we're gonna do a layoff, and you might be potentially on the list. Are you? Should we take a step during that time and just file like a change of status right away?
The best practice would be, yes, well, if you might be on the layoff, you want to make sure you are on a layoff, right? I mean, you can't file for a change of status if you want to continue on your H1B working for that company, right? So you want to make sure that you time it correctly. But I think
Mm,
the important timing kind of priority should be to file the change of status before the H1B is withdrawn by the company.
mm,
And
got
so
it.
that would require some close communication with them and their counsel,
Mm,
right? And some companies are happy to do so, and other companies don't necessarily communicate like that.
Yeah. Got it. Okay, so that's an update. Still, the Dropbox thing is happening September 2nd. Anything else going on? Have you heard of anything else?
There's talk about requiring people who want to come here on tourist visas to post a $15,000 bond. Have you heard of that?
Yeah. So okay,
now,
what's going on?
So far, that is only for people from a couple of countries in Africa. So, but yeah, it's just another move. Another move to make things harder for visitors.
So, sorry, I don't know so for people who might not know the context, like what's happening. Is this a bill or is this like an actual law?
It's something that the government, the president has within their rights to just start doing.
Okay. So is it happening already?
I believe it's happening already, or it's about to happen. Yeah.
And it is for B1. Sorry, go ahead, and if you could.
Yeah, it's for people who enter in B1, and I have to check this to confirm things are happening. Kind of like the rules are changing like every 30 minutes. It seems like at this point. But it seems like it only applies to nationals of a couple of small African countries right now.
Okay. So
yeah.
Got it. All right. You ready to do some math?
Let's do it.
Nice. Okay, cool. All right. Here we go. Friend plans to re-enter United States on August 21st with a valid visa, December 2027. The university says only SEVIS reactivation is needed. They're unsure if this is safe. CPT hasn't been used in 2 years. Semester starts 25th August.
So they're re-entering the U.S. with a valid visa. CPT has been used. Semester starts 25th. If the school is unsure this is safe, that's not a good sign. If the school doesn't know if this is safe, are they issuing an I-20? I think there's more information that we need here. Like what happened in those 2 years? Well, what was going on?
Yeah.
Right. So I think you probably need to talk to a lawyer on this one, or your friend does. This may not be one that we can answer so simply, but I'm worried that the school's not feeling great about it.
Yeah. All right. Okay. F1 visa expired, waiting on change of status to H4. Application pending since 5 months. Can I travel in United States internally?
Yeah, not a bad question. Usually the answer used to be, of course, what's the problem? But now it's not so clear, right? Because of how extreme the enforcement has been on the part of ICE. And they're kind of everywhere. They're also in airports. And they're mostly looking for those who don't have any status at all in the country. But certainly anybody can get caught up and swept up into that net, into that enforcement process, right? So I would say it should be okay. When you say your F1 visa is expired, let's be clear about one thing. Your F1 visa is your visa stamp. It doesn't matter if that's expired. That has nothing to do with your status, right? Your F1 status actually never expires until an immigration judge or USCIS says so. So Neha, we need a little bit more information on kind of what your situation is, but it sounds like you changed from maybe OPT or STEM OPT or just F1 status to H4. So pending H4 I-539 receipt is enough to show that you're in a period of authorized stay. And that generally is not something that's asked for traveling domestically. I would say I would be careful about traveling to places where if something happens to your flight, you might end up in international waters. Like what if you go to Hawaii and they have to deviate and go somewhere? That could be an issue for you, right? So I would just be a little careful, but I think you should be okay.
Yeah. Okay, another travel question. I'm planning some domestic travel and wanted to check, are there any specific requirements or precautions I should keep in mind as a green card holder?
I'm thinking we should start a side business as a travel agency. What do you think about that?
I love that. I think we'll make a lot of money.
Oh my gosh. No, it's just that, we really got to bone up on our kind of travel knowledge here. Because now I'm deciding, I'm telling people where to go and where not to go. That's usually not the job of an immigration lawyer. But in this case, this is a job of an immigration lawyer. So If you're a green card holder, what do you want to keep in mind for domestic travel? Keep your green card on you.
Really?
I mean, 100% you should have your. So the rule, if you're a green card holder, is that you're supposed to have it on you at all times. Now, most people don't. But if you're going to travel internationally or even domestically, you should keep your green card on you, because that is the rule, right? And what if you are asked about your status? What are you going to produce? If you show a picture of your green card, they might just take your phone and say, we're going to look at your phone more closely, right? What does it hurt to keep that with you? You got to take your ID with you. Just make sure you keep it very safe. But the only requirement is that you keep your green card on you as proof of your status. Otherwise, you're free to travel, wherever you like within the U.S.
Yeah. And this is making me feel like I should apply for N400 as soon as possible.
Yes. Oh, we already talked about this, Yudi. This is a foregone conclusion. Get on it.
Yeah. Okay. What options do I have if my OPT ends and I don't have H1B yet?
Well, that's a very specific question that we need more specific information. Do you have a STEM major? Do you have an employer? Can you change to STEM OPT?
I'm assuming they have it and they didn't get picked in H1B.
Yeah.
Well. So
STEM OPT would be the most common step to file for before your OPT expires. That should give you another couple of years and 2 more chances at the H1B. Aside from that, you would want to look at maybe boosting your profile for an O1 if you think you might have the possibility for that. If you're working in really important jobs and having an impact on them and on the economy by extension, that would be something I would look at too.
Yeah. Okay. If my H1B picked this year, but my OPT expired on May 2026, what are my options if my H1B is picked? When can I go for my
stamping if it gets approved? So it sounds like your employer did not premium process the H1B. So you're still waiting for it to process, but your OPT is expiring in May, right?
It's May 2026. So
right, which is next year. So the H1B should be approved by then, right? So once the H1B is approved, then you're in H1B status.
Yeah.
So the stamping is a separate question. Remember, stamping is about travel, not about the permission to be here, right? It's about permission to re-enter after you travel, after you leave the U.S. So you can only go get stamping once the H1B is approved, if you want to get stamping.
Yeah. Okay. Any update on F1 visa renewal, in-person interview, administrative process for social media wedding timeline? Trying to figure out if it's worth it or the wait is too long.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hearing in some cases it's going very smoothly. In others, it's taking a long time. I mean, it's kind of across the board right now. So if you don't need to travel, it may just be in your best interest to say it's not worth it for you. But if you really need to travel, then I'm not sure you have much of a choice. Right? You kind of have to go through it.
Nice. Okay. Thank you for your support and time. I have valid F1. However, I returned home and applied for another F1 for another university. I got accepted, but 2 visa rejection. Now I applied and got I-20. Will the 2 rejection affect CBP if I have a valid visa for this university and have a new I-20 and then new SEVIS paid?
I don't think so. I don't think what would CBP, what problem would they have? What kind of reasons does this give them to deny you entry, right? The consulate reserves the right to deny you. Once they approve you, then they've approved you. That's their job. CBP is supposed to recognize that once it's approved. So the consulates have their job. They've done theirs. Now CBP has to do their job. And their job is to make sure that there isn't anything else about you that's problematic. And in this case, you have the documentation of your visa. You have the I-20. You're fully eligible to enter school. So I don't think I should see any issues here.
Yeah, just prior visa rejection is what he's worried about, or she worried about. Yeah.
And I guess it's helpful to understand why. Why was that visa rejected? Did the consulate feel like you did not have close ties to the U.S.? And if that's the case, that might be something that you want to. Okay, you finally got the visa approved. You were able to convince them. Make sure you bring that explanation and proof of that explanation along with you when you travel.
Yeah. Here we go. Another travel question. We should partner with like all the travel agencies, I guess. But I empathize with all the people because it's so weird to like not know, can we travel or not?
Yeah.
Cruise,
But I really do think that we need to start getting some sponsorships from cruise lines and airlines too. So.
yes, yeah, that'll be nice. Cruise to Bahamas, currently on STEM OPT and H1B change of status approval in hand. Is it safe to travel?
If you're going to go to the Bahamas, come back. You have to view it like you're traveling internationally, right? If you're traveling internationally, do you have the documents you need to travel and safely re-enter internationally? So in this case, what would that be? That would be an F1 visa stamp, right? Because your H1B, I'm assuming, is not effective till October 1st, and you're traveling before that. We don't have the dates here, but that's what we're assuming. So is it safe? It's just like if you're traveling back home and coming back. Do you have the documentation that you need to re-enter the U.S.?
Yeah. Okay. I was recently laid off with last working day until August 29, 2025. Ooh, okay. On H1B, I-140 is still pending and should be approved in next 15 days. What are my options with wife on F1 visa?
Okay. So this is what we're talking about at the top of the show, right? So there's a couple of things happening here. Well, I guess the question is, has your company withdrawn the H1B? Right? If your last working day is August 29th, I guess not. You still have some time. So what I would do if I were you, I know the I-140 is still pending and hopefully that's approved. That's great. But your main concern is to be able to make sure that you have proper status here, or at least an application for a proper status filed before the government receives your company's withdrawal notice, right? And in this case, that sounds like a change of status to F2, right? That's probably what I would do. Even though your desire is probably to find another job or just go straight to an H1B transfer, I would encourage all of you to imagine the grace period does not exist anymore. Okay? That is what the government is treating people like right now. Okay? So your job right now is to pretend like the grace period doesn't exist. And what can you do by the end of your last day to maintain your status? I would file for an F2 change of status. And I believe on that you can premium process. I could be wrong. I have to go back and look at the form rules. And if that's the case, you may want to consider doing that too. So you have an approval in hand as quickly as possible. So that if you do get an NTA, which is still likely, it's still in play no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Your job is to not avoid NTAs because you have no control over that.
Right.
Okay. Your job is to make sure that if you get an NTA, you are in solid shape so that you can get the case dismissed. And that means having an application on file before the H1B was withdrawn and ideally having it approved soon.
So let's say F2 gets approved in this case, like he does premium process and gets approved. Are they eligible to keep looking for a job?
So yeah, so now they're in F2 status, and let's say they find an employer. That employer can do an H1B petition change of status for them. So it's not a change of employer. They can't start upon the working, but they can start upon the approval.
Okay. And then that can be premium processed as well.
Of course. And that could take 4 to 6 weeks on the early end.
Once the approval is there, they can start working. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then if the I-140 is approved, then the priority date is kind of basically.
Then the priority date's locked in. Yeah.
Nice. Got it. Okay.
Important, but less important right now, considering what's happening with NTAs.
Yeah. Can I travel outside? I think we kind of mentioned this, but unless you want to add anything.
I think we hit this one.
Yeah. Okay. I have written a master thesis and it has been posted in the office. There are over 5,400 downloads, but 4 citation on G-Scholar. Will I qualify for one of the category for EB1A?
I mean, the EB1 is for those that have reached the very, very top of their fields with a sustained, career, demonstrating that they've reached the top of their fields. So this is one small aspect of all the different things you're going to have to show. It by itself is not going to be nearly enough for you. You should go through an assessment and kind of get a full assessment of all that's required. And if not, if you don't have it, all that you'll need to do to eventually become eligible for the EB1.
Yeah, that reminds me, everybody, Samir and his team can do EB1 or O1 evaluations, profile evaluations for free. It doesn't cost you. And is it like everybody gets a consultation call?
Sorry, I muted myself so I don't cough in everyone's face. Yes, everyone gets a consult, assuming that we feel like there's like some potential, at least now or in the mid or long term. Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha. Okay. And then the cohort is coming soon for EB1. So we'll put the link if they want to be in the wait list for EB1A.
Yeah.
If anybody who's in the process of EB1A preparation, Samir has his and his team has a cohort where Samir, actually you teach that. Can I sit in that? I would like to sit in.
Your green card. What do you need to do? You should join a citizenship cohort.
That's right. I do need that.
I am Yudi. I'm a green card holder. I have not applied for citizenship.
But anyway,
program.
Right. Yeah. For people who wants to be part of it, link is already there. Is there a wait list already? Right now, people can join the wait list.
We do have a wait list forming, so it's going to be filled up pretty soon. So we'd encourage you to join as soon as possible.
Okay. Hawaii and Alaska at the rate. I'm assuming this is the travel to these two states.
Well, that's what I would. What was Neha was in the F1 status again?
Yeah, F1 expired. Correct. So she wants to go to either Hawaii or Alaska.
Well, I believe these are the two examples that I said watch out for, right? Do you want to go to a place where you're going to have to see you're in a period of authorized stay? You're not holding a status. So if you ended up for some reason outside of the U.S., what if you had to stop in Canada on the way to Alaska and you were stuck there for weather? What if you went to Hawaii and your flight had issues and you ended up at some other country in the middle of the Pacific Ocean? You can't get back. Okay, so I would be very careful about traveling to those two locations, as beautiful as they are.
Yeah.
Until you get your H4 approved.
Yeah. How much time I-140 takes, standard versus premium, depending upon the cases filed through your form? Ooh.
Well, we only file premium, but anecdotally, we've heard that standard cases are taking anywhere from 12 to 18 months.
And premium is 2 weeks?
Premium is 15 business days for most EB1s, 45 for NIWs.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sorry, 15 for most I-140s, 45 for NIWs.
Gotcha. Okay. Is it possible to switch employers while on H1B? How does that affect my status?
That is an H1B transfer. There's a whole process for that company to do a transfer for you.
Yep. Is it safe to travel on? Oh, I think we already covered that. For medical treatment reason, traveling to India with H1B stamping valid till 2026. Planning to stay for 2-3 months, and my company approved a short-term disability leave. Any issues on long-term stay?
Any issue on a long stay, so staying for 2 to 3 months while on medical leave? I think it should be okay. A short-term disability leave. I think it should be okay, so long as you are coming back to the U.S. with the valid visa stamp and a letter from your employer, and your approval notice. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. I'm planning to apply on applying for B1, B2 visa from London, Indian citizen on a UK work visa, but I'm unsure whether to apply from UK or from India.
Yeah. So whenever you apply for a B1, B2, you have to show that you have ties to the country that you have a residence in. Why are they asking that, Ashwin? They want to make sure that you're going to go back. You're not going to overstay. You're going to leave. Okay. So which country is the most appropriate one to show the government that you will be returning to? Right. You would know better. If you are on a UK work visa, it sounds like you're living and working there. So you need to show ties to there, right? Because that's where your job is, right? That's the reason. That's what's going to pull you back out of the US. So if that's the case, then the UK would make more sense.
Nice. I like that explanation. Just got the job in STEM, and OPT was almost unpaid. So is it safe to travel to India in a couple of months? Just got the job in STEM, but OPT was unpaid. So is it safe to travel?
I mean, OPT, there's no requirement that OPT be paid.
Yeah.
So I don't see how that would affect your travel at all.
Yeah. As long as you have a stamp, etc. Yeah.
As long as you have the typical requirements that you know you're supposed to have.
Yep. Okay. Sorry for the follow-up question I might have. Am I allowed to work as a 1099 contractor while on OPT? And if yes, is there specific requirements I need to meet?
That's a good question. Yeah, you're allowed to. On OPT, the same requirements that you would have if you worked full-time, just making sure you're reporting this to your school and that their databases are updated. Aside from that, your taxes are going to be different, like the process because when you're a W-2, like your taxes are withheld, right? When you're a contractor, you have to file taxes on your own, and sometimes you have to do it on a quarterly basis. And I'm not going to give you advice because I am not a tax expert, and nor will I ever. I won't be ever in this lifetime or the next 3. So, but just make sure you check on those rules.
Did you pass your tax exam though?
My tax exam? Which I never took a tax exam.
Oh, you don't have to? I don't know what lawyers have to do. But
well, no, we don't. We could have. I could have taken a tax class, but I stayed away from that as far as I possibly could. Yeah.
Gotcha. What about CPT? Can they do CPT on? Can they do 1099 on CPT?
That is a little bit more problematic. CPT is more like an internship, right? I don't know the answer to that question. I have to go and research it. I think that's a little bit more problematic than OPT.
Okay.
Yeah.
And sorry, follow up. 10. So he may not have follow up, but I have follow up. He apologized already for me. Can you do more than 40 hours on 1099 on first year of OPT?
There's no limit on the upper end of how much you work.
Okay. Right. Can you do multiple 1099s if they are all related and reported?
So multiple quote unquote employers. This is not employer, but multiple jobs on the
right. Yeah. Like I have 3 different freelance projects, and they're all doing 1099. So I just have to report all 3 to my school.
That's correct.
And then what about STEM OPT?
For STEM OPT, that's more problematic. More restrictions around that. So it's going to be harder to be a contractor on STEM OPT and work for multiple companies. Yeah.
Got it. But I'm assuming there are creativists and they should do consultation with you.
That's right.
Okay. My current company reduced my hours from 40 to 20 hours a week. I'm on STEM OPT. Is it fine? Sometimes 18 hours a week with an HR approval unpaid leave.
That is going to be a problem, I believe. Once again, I'm going to have to go back and check. You should get a consultation on this one because it sounds like a very specific situation. But usually when you're reducing from 40 to 20, you're going from full-time to part-time, that materially changes. Like your application, all the information you sent to the school and the government, and they both have to be updated, right? So either check with the lawyer or check with your school on what to do here.
Okay. In your experience, have you seen the current administration approve H1B for a startup founder whose own startup filed for his or her H1B for modernization?
Not yet. No, we have one case pending, but it's not premium. So it's been taking a long time to process.
Okay. Can I work for non-e-verified company while when I'm in F1 OPT?
E-Verify is only required for working when you're on STEM OPT.
Yeah. Okay. Recent tourist visa bond program. My parents on visitor visas from India are planning to visit me next month. They have no history of overstaying. Immigration will take place in Chicago. Do I need to create a bond for them?
I'm going to reserve an answer to this until this is really kind of brand new news, and so I don't want to misspeak. But just also you can go, Vishali, and kind of go online and research it yourself too, just to see kind of what the rules are. I believe it's reserved for certain countries, not Indian nationals, but I'm not 100% sure.
Got it.
Yeah.
Maybe we can update them once we learn.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Is it true that all H1B visa interview are now only going to be in Hyderabad for India? Wait, what? US Travel Docs website state all H1B will now principally centralized in Hyderabad, meaning of it.
Wow, I wasn't aware of that. If that's indeed
me
the
neither.
case. Yeah, that's a big deal.
That would be weird. Like, why would
that'd be really weird? Yeah. It's great for the hotel economy in Hyderabad, but that's terrible for everyone else.
I mean, Shrija, if you can link where you saw this, that would be helpful. Okay. I have applied for H1 to H4 status change in March 2025 with the H4 EAD extension. I didn't receive any answer yet, but I did H4 stamping from India. My question is, can I work on my EAD auto extension 540 days if I have applied for EAD extension already?
Yes. So the question is, you had an H4 EAD. They were expiring. You applied for an extension on a timely basis. And so you should be allowed to work. Yes.
Yep. Nice. Can we travel to Mexico with expired visa in these tough time to use AVR?
AVR is automatic visa revalidation, right? Meaning you can go to Mexico or to Canada, contiguous countries, with an expired visa for up to 30 days, or less than 30 days. So yes, as far as I know, I mean, that hasn't changed. That's a rule. You're allowed to do that. So I've not heard that going wrong so far. So long as you're meeting all the requirements, make sure you check the CBP website on AVR to understand what those requirements are. The requirements typically have an I-94, right? And you haven't had any, visa or immigration offenses in the past.
Okay. On H1B, if I know I'm losing my job by certain date, should I apply for change of status B1, B2 before my grace period? And the only other option is to leave before my grace period start.
That's one thing you could do. A change of status to a B1, B2 is not nearly as strong as a change of status to like an H4 or F2, like changing to your family members status. And I understand you may not have family, so that's not really fair. But that's the reality of it, because those examples are much more long-term, right, than the B1, B2, which is going to end in 6 months anyways, right? So I'm not sure that's really going to help you if you were going to end up in immigration court. It may buy you a little time, but then it may end up being more complicated than helpful if you're trying to change your job to an H1B. So I'm not exactly sure Yudi how to answer this question, because it's kind of is no answer. I would have to probably default to a more conservative approach. Is that if B1, B2 is your only chance, I probably would just leave the US instead, and maybe re-enter with the B1, B2 visa, because then you'd have the actual status. Yeah.
Okay. I'm on H1B and admitted to a program starting August 25th. I plan to file change of status to F1. Before then, I heard premium processing takes 30 days, and while pending, I can stay. But if F1 isn't approved by August 25th, the school will defer my I-20 to October 20, while my 60-day grace period ends October 15. Will this 5-day gap affect my status? What's the best solution?
That's complicated. I don't know if I love this situation for you because when the government receives your change of status application, right, they're going to want to see the I-20. Okay. You submit to I-20 that has the, let's see, the August 25th start date. But if it's past August 25th when they get to it, they're going to ask for an updated I-20. When they get the updated I-20, they're going to see it has an October 20th start date. Then they may not approve your change of status because you don't have status to bridge the gap, right? So I'm not sure what to tell you other than what can the school do to help you out here, right? This is kind of up to the school and what they list as the start date on your I-20.
Yeah. Okay. My H1B visa along with H4 for my spouse expires on September 30th. I just filed for renewal today. Should I pay for premium processing or would it be fine?
Why would you want to pay for premium processing? I would say, what if you have to travel? If you have to travel unexpectedly, you need an approval, right? But aside from that, if you're not going to travel, I think you're okay to kind of be here on the extension. But
Because
I
are
think
you
of situations.
because of the 540-day extension?
Yeah, it's not 540 in this case; it's 240.
Okay.
But still, it's 240, right?
Yeah.
But if you're noticing my hesitation, it's because like here's the advice that we've been giving for the last 15 years, right?
Yeah.
And now in the last 30 hours, whatever it is, everything is changing. And I haven't seen anything that specifically changes the advice I'd give here. But you never know, right? So maybe my answer is maybe it's better just to do premium and get it done with. Like maybe it'll be better to have the approval and status in hand rather than waiting for it to, take its course. Because the more you give this administration time, right, the more time they have to mess with you, right, while you're in this uncertain period of stay time period, right, the 240-day period. So maybe the company will pay for it.
Yeah. And when you do like in this case, H1 and H4 together, do you have to pay 2 times premium processing or just one?
No, I mean, the government is not going to premium process the H4. Even if you pay for premium here, they no longer have to. They used to have to up until last January. But they still do in many cases. So you only pay premium once. You pay premium for the H1B. Okay. And you hope that the H4 is processed pretty quickly too.
Gotcha. Got it. Okay. All right. On an F1 OPT visa, can I work with a company asking me to reinvest my earnings in the company for equity? Oh.
Yeah, I mean, you're not technically required to be paid on OPT. So you're getting compensation of some sort. If you think this is a good idea for you, it's fine from an immigration perspective.
Okay. Yeah, I think we need more information on that one. If I lose my job while on H1B and decide to travel back to stop the clock, will I retain my H1B slot if I get another job while abroad, or do I need to go through a lottery again?
Yeah, assuming you have time left on your overall 6 years, you do not have to go through the lottery again. You're entitled to the remainder of that time.
Nice. Okay. My F1 expires in January 2026. However, my STEM OPT expires on May 2026. Okay. Can I stay in US till May 2026 or do I have to leave in January 2026?
When you say my F1 expires,
the stamp.
It took it to stamp, right? So what do we know about the stamp? It only has to do with what? Archana, that when you can return to the U.S. after travel. It has nothing to do with your permission to be here, okay? That is your STEM OPT, essentially, in your I-20s, right? The kind of combination of those two documents. That's what gives you the authorization to be here. So you have until May 2026 plus your 60-day grace period, right, to leave.
Yeah.
Or change your status.
Yeah, but obviously, if Archana needs to travel outside of United States, he
Then
will need
Arjuna needs to get a new visa stamp after January.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. My OPT just got approved today. EAD approved. Can I start working now, or do I need to wait for the physical card?
Congratulations. Unfortunately, you have to wait for the physical card because that's what the company needs to onboard you by law.
Yeah. Okay. I got my appointment for F1. So, what questions should I expect for undergrad finance student? Arav, I have a bunch of videos on F1 with an ex-visa officer. Go and check that out.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I work as an independent contractor on my initial OPT in New York State? I don't think state matters, but does it?
Yeah, it only matters insofar as I was just there. So it has nothing to do with this question, but it's a great state. No, I would yes. I don't see any problem with this fact pattern here.
Okay. F1 visa revoked due to a dismissed misdemeanor case. Parent wants to come for graduation. Should parents mention that they have a son in United States, or just say that they're coming for tourism? Okay, that's
okay. So I'm trying to unpack this one. So the student's stamp was revoked. What does that have to do with the parents? Well, first of all, how are you still here?
yeah.
What are you doing here? Are you the same person that got your F1 revoked? Are you legally here? I guess is my primary concern before we get to your parents.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You may want to talk to a lawyer about that one.
Yeah. Okay. I'm working full time on STEM OPT. Next year is my last chance for H1B as my STEM OPT ends in February 2027. Is it safe to travel to India with my current situation before March 2026 due to fear of deportations?
Okay. So full-time STEM OPT, next year last chance for H1B lottery. Can I travel before March 2026 due to the fear of deportations? Okay, well, we're talking about what is the environment going to be a year from now, or a little less than a year from now. Based on how things are right now, as long as you have a visa stamp, you're fine. In my opinion, there's nothing kind of out of the ordinary, risky for you to travel.
I think he's saying before March because lottery is in March, so he doesn't want to travel.
Right. Sure, and which is ideal, honestly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you're okay. But anything can change.
Yeah. Okay, I have my I-140 approved via previous employer. Should I get it ported to the new employer, or is it fine to wait? Old one is EB2 and new ones are filing in EB3.
Well, I think the most important piece of that information is left out of here. What is your priority date, right? If your priority date's fairly recent, and let's say it's within the last few years, when are those dates going to become? Why would you want to port it to your employer? Because the idea is, if your dates become current, you want to be able to apply for the green card, and you can only do so if your new employer has an I-140 for you, right? So when is that date? When is that going to happen? If you have a current priority date, that's probably not happening for 100 years.
Did I lose Samir, or did he lose us? I mean, did we lose myself? I'm not sure. Okay, I'm not sure if you guys can even see me, hear me, maybe. Okay, maybe it's Samir. I lost him. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Yes, no? Able to hear you. Okay. Yeah, looks like, okay, Samir just messaged me that his power is gone. So he's joining back. Okay. Well, wait. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I got confused. So the reason I got confused is because there's a lot of construction going on in my area. So we have had bunch of internet outages as well. So I was not sure if it was me or him. But looks like you guys can hear me, so that's good. I'll wait for him, and I don't think I can answer any of this question. So, so we'll just wait until he joins. Are there any other questions for me while we wait for Samir? Oh, there it is. There it is.
Hey, sorry about that.
Oh, you're good. I was like, I don't think I can answer any of the question, but
I thought you got so upset with my advice, you just kicked me right off. I just had a quick power issue. I don't know what happened there. It was weird.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna switch because I thought it was me. So I'm gonna switch my internet back to my Wi-Fi. I put it on my phone hotspot, so I might be gone for like a blip, or maybe not. I don't know how quickly Mac is gonna realize this.
Well, while you do that, I'll just kind of finish up my thoughts on priority dates.
Yeah.
So I guess the point that I'm trying to make is, what does it matter if it's within the last couple of years? You're not getting a green card anytime soon, no matter which employer you're with, unless you ultimately build yourself up to an EB1A, and that's really the only way it's gonna do it. So I'd be less concerned about porting your I-140 to your next employer, and be more concerned about building your profile and showing this country why you're one of the very best in the world at what you do.
Okay. Okay, I got my H1B picked this year, and my company filed for change of status, and I'm currently on F1 OPT cap gap extension, which expires April 1st, 2026. Should I wait for approval or go with premium?
I mean, if you have the chance to go with premium, I would always say that. I guess why what are the reasons why you didn't do so in the first place? Are there cost constraints? Are they going to make you pay for it? These are more kind of related questions. They're important questions, but all else being equal, I would always do premium.
I don't remember. Oh, okay. Follow-up question to my previous question. My STEM OPT is ending in February 2027. Is it possible to ask my employer to allow me to work full-time on my CPT after 2027 February, with me taking another F1 visa and joining day one CPT college? Is that safe to do so? If so, how many hours are safe to work like that?
So you want to go from STEM OPT to day one CPT?
Yeah, because he's saying my fear is that I only earn 52,000 full time. I don't know if that is a minimum salary to apply for H1B lottery.
You can try, but that's your only option. Then that's what I would do. It's legal technically to do so. I don't know about safe. I don't think anything is safe in this world anymore, especially the day one CPT program. But as of right now, it exists. And if that's your only option, then I don't see what other choices you might have.
Yeah. Okay. Currently laid off and looking for a job in grace period. Should I be worried about domestic travel in United States? Visa expires next year and 90 accrued days of unemployment.
So I'm assuming this person is an OPT.
That's my guess too. Yeah.
Okay. Looking for a job in the grace period. So you've already accrued your 90 days of unemployment?
I'm assuming he's saying that he still has 90 days.
He still has 90 days. I see. So you're okay. Worried about domestic travel. I mean, aside from the Alaska, Hawaii examples where you might get caught in a different country, I'm not so sure you're in that much trouble traveling domestically. But if I were you, I'd play it safe. Like, what if you did encounter a CBP officer? Usually you only see TSA officers, right? Traveling domestically. But there has been the occasional CBP officer. And what if they asked you for proof of your status? What if they asked you for proof of your employment? Like, they're not going to be so forgiving if you're in your 90-day period, right? Like, you're technically allowed to be in one, but are they going to like that? They're not going to care, right? So I probably would maybe focus more on, not that you're not doing that, but I probably would not travel. I'd probably focus more on just finding the next job.
Yeah.
Just to be safe.
Okay, got an offer on day 58 of my H1B grace period. LCA filed on day 59. Old employer hasn't revoked H1B yet. If I-129 is filed after day 60, will I be out of status during the transfer?
Yes. You might be out of status even regardless, right? Because what if the government doesn't recognize the grace period in the first place? I would ask the company to file consular notification, and I would leave the U.S. And come back in with your visa stamp and the approval once it's approved.
Okay. I have founded my own company, and I'm on F1 OPT. What are some of the things to keep in mind while I ensure myself as employee, co-founder of my company? Also enroll myself in E-Verify.
So E-Verify is for STEM OPT. It's going to be harder to be on your own as a founder on STEM OPT, but on OPT you're fine. Just as long as you're reporting your employment, I don't think there's really much more you have to do. STEM OPT, there has to be somebody who's supervising your employment, okay, who can be answerable to the government in terms of the training you're receiving. You also have to be paid a certain amount. It's not really clear what's considered to be market and reasonable for the job that you're doing under STEM OPT. So those are some of the constraints that make it harder for founders in that context. But for now, I think on OPT, it sounds like you're okay.
Okay. How does new immigration policy or policy changes impact to those who are already applied for national interest waiver I-140 and currently in H1B status?
I guess you just need to be more specific and talk about which new policy changes are you referring to. There's lots of different ones. So maybe more specificity about what you're concerned about. I don't necessarily see anything that's changed I-140s and for those in H1B status other than they're getting really hard on I-140s right now. But that's been a thing for several months now.
Is it good time to leave United States for good now and come back after Trump is gone after 3.5 years based on the remaining time I have on H1B, the guys?
This is our should we put on our travel agent hats now, or is this even travel agent question?
This is a life career coach.
Like a life coach question.
Yeah.
Well, I'll give my immigration answer is that under the current rules, you can come back. If you have another 3.5 years of remaining time on the H1B, you could sit that out in a different country and come back when you're ready, right? So if you have an I-140, then you have unlimited amount of time on the H1B status. So
wait, that's interesting. So let's say I'm on H1B. My company is okay with me working from, let's say, my home country, India. Does that mean like I can stop my H1B and just work from
the H1B time doesn't accrue while you're abroad. It only accrues when you're in the US.
Okay.
In terms of the 6 years that you have, any time spent out of the US does not count towards the 6 years.
Oh, interesting.
So
okay.
The idea is if you're in India working for the company, you're not going to be on US payroll, right? So you're going to probably be on India payroll.
But what if my company is okay? Like, how does that matter? Like,
but that has nothing to do with the H1B at that point. That's just you working in India in your home country.
Right. Yeah. So
yeah.
So that's what I was saying. Like, the case of Soham Parekh, but like working for the companies in United States, they are willing to pay slightly US salary or more than Indian salary. That means and then come back 3.5 years.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Sorry, I was just exploring my curiosity.
I thought you were exploring your own options there.
My boss is watching this. All right, I'm on F1 visa. I'm pursuing my PhD. I need to renew my visa. It expires next year. Given the Dropbox has stopped, should I go through the new process interview again or to renew my visa?
Well, I don't think you have a choice.
Yeah.
Remember, I know you want to renew the visa because it expires, and it feels good to have a valid visa on hand in case you have to travel. But you don't need to renew it just because it's expiring. Does that make sense? Like, there's nothing illegal with being in the U.S. and having a expired visa stamp. It just becomes stressful if you need to travel and you don't have one handy.
Yeah.
And yes, you'll have to go through the process as they mandate it now.
Yeah. And the social media vetting and all of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. We have 3 minutes, so no more super chats. just saying. I'm on H1B, got an offer with a different company, plan to get I-797 approval before leaving the current company. Is there high risk of NTA in this case?
Like, there shouldn't be a high risk in that case. Like, you're literally doing everything you possibly can to avoid an NTA being issued. The problem is, like, they're not doing much diligence when they're issuing NTAs, right? So what you need to be doing is not trying to avoid the NTA, but just trying to protect yourself in case there is an NTA issued, and putting yourself in the best possible, place to get that case dismissed quickly, right? And so I would say what you're doing, getting the I-797 approval before even leaving the company, right, is the best way to do that. And hopefully it does thwart the NTA, right? If somebody actually takes more than a millisecond to look at your file, they'll see that there's no reason to issue an NTA.
Yeah. All right, 2 more questions. Is it possible to switch from non-Cap H1B to Cap H1B? If you can provide some details, that'll be helpful.
So yes, but you have to go through the lottery, right? Because the whole point of the non-cap is that you're working for a lottery exempt employer, right? If you want to go to a cap employer, you have to go through the lottery first. Okay, so that employer has to sponsor you in the lottery. Any time spent for the non-cap employer towards the 6 years counts towards the cap employer. So it's not like you get a fresh 6 years.
Yeah. Probably more money, I'm guessing. I don't know. But okay. H1B LCA list taxes where company I work remotely from Virginia. My employer won't refile until next year on OPT until October 1st. Then H1B, confused.
So you work in Virginia. The company is in Texas. LCA lists Texas, but you're sitting in Virginia. They won't refile until next year. You're an OPT. This doesn't even become an issue until October 1st. Why won't they refile? What's happening next year? It's like, what's so like significant about next year? That's more of a compliance issue on their end, honestly, than it is a thing on your end you have to watch out for. They're supposed to be listing all the locations that you are sitting, right? Now it could come back to bite you if they visit Texas and ask for you, and ask, because people do that, right? Now they are doing the site visits, and what if they come to Texas and look for you, and the company says, "Oh no, he's remote. He's working in Virginia." I don't know what that means for your H1B. They may say just file an amendment, which apparently they're going to do next year instead of doing it right now. The other thing they can do is no, they should file an amendment if they didn't list it.
Yeah. Okay. I have created my LLC. I'm an international student on my senior year. Can I be the CEO with CPT and OPT? The company is related to my major.
OPT yes, CPT no.
Okay.
In fact, so on CPT you need to have somebody supervising your work, basically. So in theory you can be the CEO if there's somebody supervising your work, but there needs to be others in the company. OPT, there is no such requirement.
Okay, last question. How risky is it to fall out of status during SEVIS transfer for a day 1 CPT program, given the current immigration enforcement climate?
It's not the current climate's not going to cause you to fall out of status. It's the bungling of the paperwork that's going to cause you to fall out of status, right? And then the risk of what happens after that is greatly heightened due to the current enforcement climate. So just make sure the paperwork is handled really, really well and carefully.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody, and for joining. And thank you, Samir, for joining. We'll see you next week. And I know we should plan the H1B founder options for immigrations or something like that.
Yeah, we'll have some great EB1A content coming up too.
Yes.
To celebrate our upcoming new cohort, as Yudi mentioned.
Yes. Yeah. Links will be in the description if you need any help. But again, Samir, thank you so much. We'll talk soon.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And